know you can buy a house without even seeing it? Well, Anna is going to tell us everything about it.
It's true. Moving to Sooke, sight unseen.
I'm Nadja from Realtor with Relocate, and this is Anna.
Hi, Anna Jodwin, Tribeca Mortgages.
So today, I thank you very much for coming. I have a couple questions to you, and thank you for being so open about it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
I know you yourself moved to Sooke a couple years ago without even seeing your house.
I did.
So let's talk about this experience.
I did. So I guess it started back in 2019. I was originally living in Saskatchewan, which I love the prairies and it's amazing people, but I was ready to get out of the winters. So my husband and I had a conversation of what that would look like for us and where we would move. And really, instead of picking the right location, we decided to discuss what was important to us, right? So the things that came down to us were more time with our family. I have 2 young boys, and we just weren't getting to see them enough. We had, lots of time in daycare. Wanted to be outside more. The summers in Saskatchewan are beautiful, and you spend so much time outside riding bikes at the lake, and we just wanted more of that. We didn't want to spend 8 months inside and 4 months outside. We wanted to kind of flip that. So outside time, my husband loves the ocean. I love hiking. I also am originally from the States, and so I wanted to be closer to my family. So once we narrowed down what was important to us, that's when we started to look to see what towns, cities, location really provided those things for us. So Sooke was not on that list. It wasn't on that list at all. In fact, I had never even heard of Sooke when we moved here, or when we started to look at it. I started to look at houses. So I'd never heard of it. My husband has a friend that lives on Vancouver Island. I had never been to the island before. He, speaks very highly of it. And so we came out for a visit. I left the kids with the in-laws. They're amazing. And flew out to Nanaimo. So we actually started in northern kind of island. We started in Nanaimo, we looked in Duncan, Parksville, and then made our way down into Victoria, and then made it out to Langford and Colwood. And we thought, you know what? Anywhere here on the island is going to be beautiful, and we could absolutely see ourselves here. So that was the end of our 3-day weekend, and we flew back, and then we stared to kind of look at some properties.
So you haven't even seen Sooke before?
Haven't heard of it yet, still
Okay.
Haven't heard of it.
Okay.
Never heard of it. We made it only as far as Langford. Looked at some houses ourselves, and then thought, we went to the beach, we went on a couple hikes and things that are important to us, coffee shops. We don't eat out as much, so grocery stores are important to us, and kind of just the outdoor activities and parks for kids and everything else. So still hadn't heard of Sooke at this point. So then we started looking at properties online. So from Saskatchewan in the middle of November and December, so it made it very easy to want to look at properties. And we started in Victoria. So we looked in Victoria because we felt like that really had a similar vibe to what we liked and looked for as a young married couple. And we found some houses that were within our budget, but were not the floor plan or kind of the ideal situation we wanted to be in.
What were you looking for?
Well, it's important to us to have family. And one of the reasons we were in Saskatchewan for so long is because my husband's whole family lives there. And so we wanted to have a place or a home that had a, basement suite that we could have family come and stay with us. It was important. Yeah, exactly, right? So they can escape the winter.
Awesome, yeah.
And my family can come up from the States. And so we really just wanted to create a place that they felt comfortable visiting, because it is important for us to have our community help, raise our kids, and it takes a village. So that was really important to us, kind of first and foremost. So in order to have the houses that would have that separate suite or something else, it was just outside of our budget in Victoria, to be honest. So then we kind of expanded, and we looked at Bear Mountain next. And Bear Mountain, I'd never been to Bear Mountain, but it's beautiful. The houses are gorgeous. And still, it's a beautiful location. And my father-in-law is an avid golfer. So I'm trying to think, okay, what would he want if he's coming out in the winter? And it's important for him to be golfing, and you get a membership, and it's amazing. So we'd reached out to a realtor online just to ask more questions about that house. And to be honest, it sold in by the time that he had replied, it's great, and I'm glad you like that house, but it sold. So what else are you looking for? And then we really got to kind of narrow down and discuss those options with a realtor, which was super important for us because, again, we'd never even been here.
So was it the realtor who listed that house that was sold?
Yeah, it was the listing realtor of the home that we looked at.
Oh, and then you started to work with him just because you started.
Yeah, so he actually was extremely gracious and said, what are you looking for? Maybe there's some other options. And then sent us a couple of options, and we said yes, no, that kind of thing. Here's our budget. Here's what we're looking for. And then he very graciously kind of built us a portal and showed us just a ton of like what you could get in different areas for different price points.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was extremely helpful. And one of those houses was in Sooke. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is a perfect house or close to. Let's go check it out. Like, how far could it be from Bear Mountain, right? And it turns out
just 20 minutes drive.
20 minutes drive. Like,
or
so
like 3 hours, depends on
well, yeah, I mean, again, I have no idea. So I'm thinking, there's some houses that are in that area where it's like Langford and Colwood and Highlands and, Bear Mountain. Like, it's all really close to vicinities. So I thought Sooke was maybe just one of those little corridors, which turns out it's not. It's its own community. And it's just far enough away that you feel like it's a small community and you're not getting lost in the sea of kind of the West Shore.
Absolutely.
So we looked at that house. Turns out that wasn't the right house for us either. And then we saw a house or a listing of our house. And it was just a picture of the drywall. Like, it hadn't even been built yet. And so we had our realtor do a walkthrough with a Zoom call. And my in-laws did the Zoom call with us. So my realtor got to meet all of us at the same time. And then maybe 15 minutes. And then we thought, heck, let's put in an offer. This is perfect for us.
Let's get to the point. You didn't see Sooke. You haven't been here in your life. Your husband?
No.
Oh, awesome. So you haven't seen the house.
No.
You don't know Realtor in person besides that he helped you.
Yeah.
And then you're putting like a lot of money down to
an offer.
Buy a house.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So then from there, once we said, okay, let's make an offer, then it was like, okay, my best friend Google, right? So it's like, how many grocery stores are in Sooke? How many streetlights? What's the population? Like, what?
4 streetlights?
Yeah. It said 2 online, to be honest.
It was 2 years ago, but now it's 4.
Yeah, it said 2. And then the population is about 15,000. And I grew up in a small town in Oregon. So I thought, what a great place for kids to grow up in a small town. And it's still so close to everything that we want. And the affordability was great, right? So it really gave us an eye-opening of some areas to live that would suit our needs, right? So close to beaches, close to trails, family community, more time with our kids, affordability. So it was already checking off those pieces for us.
So was it about 20 to 30% cheaper than in Victoria, probably, right?
Yeah, I think we were looking at houses at the time. So this is December 2020. So we were looking at houses. In COVID, it's a lot of things had changed for us in our life, but we're looking at houses that are like 1.2, 1.3 on Bear Mountain that didn't have an in-law suite. So we're trying to, figure out what that would look like, sharing spaces, sharing kitchens, and then you come out to Sooke and you have the ability to purchase in that same price point with an extra 1,200 square feet.
And a garden.
And a yard. And like, our house is beautiful, and it's finished now. It's not just drywall anymore, but it's on a cul-de-sac, and the houses all next to us have families, and that was something that's important for us. And we're right next to a school, and we see the kids' teachers, and it just had everything that we wanted. And the affordability, we got so much more by extending our search out to Sooke.
So did you have a house in Saskatchewan?
We do, yeah.
So how did you transfer that?
So we have a renter in our house in Saskatchewan.
Oh, so you didn't sell it?
We didn't sell it, no. So we have a renter that has a pretty long lease. So we've got 2 rental properties there, and then this is our 3rd property now.
Awesome. So because I would have a couple mortgage questions, but it's probably not for everyone in this situation.
Yeah.
So mortgage, how do you take a mortgage for $1.2 million?
Yeah, so roughly? we put some money down, absolutely. So our mortgage is not 1.2 million, I can tell you that. It's closer to the 4 to 5 range, right? So and really it has to do with our income. My husband's self-employed, and so that we had some years built up as far as being able to supply income documents. My job, because they do ask, now you're moving to a completely different province, like how are you going to afford that, right? And so my job was moving and transitioning to online, as so many jobs have. And so that was really easy for us to be able to say, you know, here's a job letter, Anna's just going to work from home, and this is kind of what she's going to do. So we were able to supply those documents, and then because of our, you know, we had a significant down payment, and our other properties have renters, and so that is, you know, kind of offsets that cost of our mortgage because we have a renter.
So that works out.
Yeah, as far as investment properties and anything else go, and our current home has a suite in it. And so that also really helps with affordability for people, because the renting possibility, even though that's not our goal at this point with our in-laws and being able to provide a suite, we could always turn that into a long-term rental location, and then we could, you know, have that increase in our income.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So you moved to Sooke now 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Perfect.
Last week.
So, and I know you're very involved in the community. So how was that for you?
You know, it's something that I have always wanted, and I think it's very important. Like I mentioned, I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. And so it's very important for me to make sure that I'm involved in not only what they're doing, but also giving back. And that's something that is easy for me to do because I love sports and I love kids' sports. So I started coaching my son's soccer team, which is kind of how I started getting involved. And then I got asked to join the board of directors for the Sooke Soccer Association, so that's been great. So that's now we're involved there. Yeah, so I'm doing some, you know, coaching clinics and everything else. So it just has really started to develop, and the community is wonderful. Like there's so many people just like me and just like you that you know move here, that want a community and want their kids to know the person that they run into at the grocery store and want to have that you know, big fish, small pond feeling, and Sooke provides that. So
I moved here with 2 little boys when they were just 4 months old and 3 years old. Yeah. So, and they went to soccer when they were in the age of probably when your kids started. So I was on soccer here in Sooke soccer for like 8 years. Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful program, and it's a great club. I've really enjoyed it. My husband and I were, you know, when we signed up for soccer, we thought, man, it goes all year round here, and it's all outside. Like we're thinking, okay, it's indoor soccer or something.
No, winter soccer. It starts in October and finishes in like February.
Yes, it's the whole winter, but honestly, it's beautiful. Like the weather is really, it's like it doesn't rain nearly as much as I thought it would. It's, you know, an average of like between 5 and 7 Celsius. Like it's so much more bearable than I had experienced in Saskatchewan. So we had anticipated to be super rainy and, you know, kind of gray, and we don't really get that.
There was a dry summer. It's a very dry winter this year, but usually we used to have more rain usually, but this year it was a little bit different. But also last summer was a little bit longer, hot. So the weather is a little bit messy, but it's definitely nice in winter. All the winters we were outside, and it's probably 1 or 2 times when the soccer game gets canceled because of snow.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
And we have also the new turf field.
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing facility.
It is new. It was built just a couple years ago.
You know what I find about Sooke is that it's so, I don't want to say up and coming, but it has a full turf field. It's got a full practice field. Like I play basketball with the men's, the high school team on Friday nights, and like my
kids are playing.
Okay. So I play with them on Friday nights, and it's you know, the facility is really good. And so I just, the facilities in Sooke, you can see that the community is pouring into that. And so I think that's something too that is just a precedent that people are setting as we, you know, the library that's just got built.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can see that there's a community that wants to pour into their people. The parks that are being developed, you know, within 2-minute walking distance from our house, you can go to 3 separate parks for our kids. Like it's just, there's so much green space. You can see that the community is invested in their people. And
so people are moving more and more here, so it is very popular. It's getting more and more popular because people want exactly that. They want to be close to town but still in the nature, and Sooke is perfect for that.
It's absolutely perfect. And especially considering like we're 5 minutes from, you know, Ella Beach or the Whiff and Spit, and then if you drive 10 minutes you're at Gordon Beach and French Beach, and like it goes on and on and on, like how much
view is more beautiful.
The access you have to the outdoors here. And I mean, it's just, you know, 15-20 minutes from home. So for me, that's amazing with kids because we can go out for the day and we can come back. It doesn't have to be this huge, a huge event or a huge traveling day. We would leave Saskatchewan and go to Jasper, which Jasper is beautiful, but it would take us a day and a half to get there, right? And a day and a half with a 3-year-old in the car is not my favorite way to spend time. So here it just is like there's so much accessibility. And Sooke has just has exceeded all of my expectations.
That's awesome. So when did you become a mortgage broker?
So I became a mortgage broker just recently, just at the end of 2022. So I used to be in the auto industry, and what I did there as a director of finance, and my background's in finance for over a decade, is I helped people either acquire the assets, so get a car, or explain credit to them, or help them get better rates, or negotiate with lenders. And so somebody had said along the way, like, Anna, you should really consider moving into homes, especially involved in the community. Like, helping build Sooke as a community is helping people move here and making sure that they know what they're getting, and explaining mortgages to them, and making sure that they're set up for that future, either that future portfolio or their future finances, or whatever that is that they're trying to accomplish. And so it was probably nearly a year ago that it kind of started that spark and that desire. And then I looked more into it and talked to people like you and friends, and the transition has been really good.
Well, being a realtor, I'm meeting you, like being a newer-ish realtor, like I'm now in my second year.
Yeah, you're a pro.
I feel like, no, I'm not. But I learned a lot in this year, definitely. And I know that we are working a lot together with mortgage brokers and lawyers. So I will definitely have more questions to you, and that is something for next video, definitely.
Yeah, so, of course. I'm happy to answer them. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, and see you in Sooke, see you around. You can contact us. Our contact details will be underneath of this video. Please subscribe to my channel or your channel. If this video comes on your channel, you're more than welcome. And we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have cell phones, we have emails. Contact us if you have any questions about Sooke or areas. We're also working, of course, in Victoria too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing for families that are considering moving to the island, which is a super desirable place. If you want to have questions or have questions that you want answered of, what's the best way to move, or did you use a shipping company, or, what did that look like moving to a new place or setting up schools? I'm absolutely happy to answer them, because we've gone through all of those hoops and have experiences in that here just recently. So I welcome any questions and would love to help.
Well, that's perfect. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming. And I'll see you next video.
Bye, everyone.